So the data set for the class will be shared on the WhatsApp group chat right about now. Please do also mute your mics and follow through. Over to you, Mr. Francis.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes, Francis, we can hear you.
All right. I hope my Power BI screen is showing.
Yes, it's visible.
All right. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so kindly share the data sets with them so that we can start. Okay. So while they are receiving the data sets, I'm sure what Mubarak has taught you guys is just a foundation of what we are going into, because it's quite important. Because sometimes it's not just about jumping into the software itself, but understanding what you are trying to do. Okay. But in summary, as data analyst, all you are trying to do at the end of the day is to what? Extract your data. First of all, there's an assumption that there's a problem in the organization. There are certain questions you need answers to. Okay. To provide answers to those questions, you require what? The data. So when you get the data, what you need to now do is to what? Extract the data, analyze the data. And when we talk about analysis, beyond your normal analysis, we also need to prepare, clean, and transform the data. Transform the data. Okay. And at the end of the day, we should be able to what? Visualize the data. So this is what we are trying to do. But visualization is the list of your problem. Okay. But all you need to do is learn how to what? Extract the data, prepare, clean, and transform that data, because most times, almost 80% of the time of an analyst, you spend time what? Cleaning the data. Okay. There are some already bad habits I'm sure we have learned over the years. Okay. But now we are going to learn some rules when keeping what? The data. And I'm sure, how many of us are familiar with Excel? You can use the chat button, raise your hand button. How many of you are familiar with Excel? Okay, that's fine. So you will notice that in Excel, when you're working as a data analyst, basically you work with maybe 3 sheets. Okay, the first sheet is called your data sheet. The next sheet is called your analysis sheet. And another sheet is called your report sheet. Okay, so whenever we are keeping the data, these are some rules that we must always learn. These are some rules you must always learn, okay, to make life easy for yourself. Okay, so one of them is that there should be no empty rules. No empty rules. Okay, no empty rules. Another rule is that no empty columns. No empty columns. No empty rows, no empty columns. Okay. This one, I'm sure this one will be clear. Another one is that you should have one row of header, which means that if you check your table in Excel, you must always have what? A header. Okay, one row of what? Header. That is your headings. Okay, one row of what? Header. And we are coming to look at it. So no empty rows, no empty columns, one row of header. Another one again is that there should be no totals or subtotals in your data set. No total or subtotal in your data sets. So somebody will be asking, but I need to get total. So no total or subtotal in your data. So the moment you see total or subtotal, you don't need them in your data set. Okay, so remember, we are keeping this. If we are doing it in Excel, we need 3 sheets: your data sheet, your analysis sheet, and report sheets. Okay, but we are saying that whenever you are keeping this data, always follow these rules. So these are the rules. What's the first rule? What's the first rule?
No empty row.
No empty rows, no empty columns, right?
Yes.
One row of header, isn't it? No total or subword total. Okay, you can mute now. Thank you. Now, another aspect again is that whenever you have dates, right? Dates, there should be one. So all your dates, all your dates should be on one column. All 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 dates should be on one word column. So I cannot have dates in your different word columns. So rather, all my dates should be on a single word column. Another thing is that all categories, right? All categories or unique, or let's say unique data. Or unique. To write with mouse is hard. Okay. All category or unique variables should be on a single column. All variables, unique variables should be on a single column. And we're going to see what that means. All categories should be on a single column. Then another rule again you must take note of. There should be no obstruction around your data. No obstructions. No obstructions around your data. For example, if you are keeping this data in Excel, do not go and start writing comments close to the data. Don't write anything around close to the data. Okay. So what we are trying to do is to learn how to ensure that we always have best practice of having clean data. But most times your data will never be clean. Okay. So with that being said, have we shared the data set now?
Yes, Francis.
All right. So another assumption we are going to make is that we have all installed our Power BI. We have all installed our Power BI. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let us open our data set. Let me open it. Okay. Can we see this data set here on Excel? Is my screen showing now?
Yes, it is. The data set.
All right, beautiful. Now, is this data, is it clean? Is this data ready for analysis?
No.
Why?
They are empty columns. They are empty rows.
Okay, so the rule is that no empty
columns.
No empty
Dates.
columns.
Yeah,
Dates,
below
right?
headers. Dates, yes.
Dates, okay. Dates should be what?
Should be on
On
one
one
column.
column.
On one column, okay. Yes, what again? What again?
The
Unique
header is in the
data.
first line.
Unique data, okay.
Header.
Okay, there should be one row of header. Okay, is there a row of header?
Yeah, but not at the top.
Not at the top.
Yes.
Yes, what again? What again?
The unique data, they're not in a single column.
They are
There is
not in a
total.
single column, okay. Can you give an example of when we say a unique variable, unique data? Which one? What do we mean?
Like the southeast, we have different columns, different rows for them.
Okay, southeast. Okay, beautiful. Okay, we'll address that. Okay, what again? Then we'll talk about what? See, total. Should there be total in this data?
No.
No.
Total. All right, beautiful. Then we also talk about no obstruction. So do not type something like this amount is yet to be verified. Don't type anything like this. Do not do this.
It took a very long time.
Okay? Do not do this. Okay, so let's start. Now we have an idea of what data should not be, right? So let's go to Power BI now. So in Power BI, one good thing about Power BI is that it enables you get data from different sources. And because this is Microsoft, most of your data in most organizations, you store them in Excel or a CSV file. So this file you are working with, is it an Excel file or is it a CSV file?
Excel.
Excel. So because it's an Excel file, I will go to get data, Excel. Did you see that? Get data, Excel. Or I just come here straight, import from Excel. Did you see that?
What if it was a CSV?
If it was a CSV file, then I come here, get data. Can you see text or CSV? I click text or CSV. Okay. All right. So the first one we are going to be looking at is getting the data. So click on get data, Excel. And what's the name of this data set? What's the name of the data set?
Customer.
Customer. So I click on customer and click what? Open. So do you have a screen showing like this now?
Yes.
Beautiful. You have a screen showing like this now. Now, what is the name of the sheet?
Customer.
The name of the sheet is what?
Customers.
Customers. So best practice, anytime you are working with your Excel file, always label your sheets. Always label your sheets, okay? Imagine you had 10 sheets, called sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 to sheet 10. So that means you have to be scrolling, checking each of them one by one. But if your sheet is well labeled, you can easily identify it and check on it, okay? So once you have checked on the sheet, oh, this is the sheet I want, the next thing I am going to do is that I'm going to transform the data. Most times, I can guarantee you 80% of the time, your data, in fact, 90% of the time, your data is never clean. So never click load, rather go to what? Transform data. Transform data. Transform data. I don't know, there's another screen that is coming up. Have you seen it's going to be called Power Query Editor. Can you see that now?
Yes.
So can you see Power Query Editor showing now?
We can't see it on your screen.
Oh, you can't see it on my screen, but has it come up on your own?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it has come up on your own. Beautiful. All right. So can we see it now?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, as analysts, remember we talk about extracting the data, isn't it? So this is the extraction part. I've extracted it from a particular source. Where is the source from? Where is the source of this data?
Excel.
From
The Excel, isn't it? It means that I can get data from different sources. I can get from Excel, I can get from a CSV, I can get from a database, I can get from the web. Bring all this data together. Okay. Now I want to clean and transform this data. I want to clean and transform this data. Now let us follow the rules. Let us follow the rules now, right? If you're if it's grayed out, just click on that customers. Click on customers. Click on customers, and you see transform data. You have not selected your data yet. Click on customers. Okay. So everybody, are we here now?
Yes.
Beautiful. So what do you think we are going to do now? Let's follow our rules. So the first thing is that every table must have a header, isn't it? Every table must have a header. Does it have a header now?
No.
No.
So what should have been the header? What do you think should have been the header?
The first row.
The first row, isn't it? So because the first row is supposed to be a header, what is showing here? A, column 1, column 2, column 3. Is that a header?
No.
So what are we going to do? We are going to make this first row as header. It's not the first row. This is supposed to be the header, right?
Yes.
So look at it. Under my home tab, can you see use first row as headers?
Yes.
Use first row as what? Headers. Use first row as what? Headers. Have you noticed it?
Yes.
Beautiful. So we now have first row as what? Header. Kayode, please check that customers. When you open your data sets, when you get data from Excel, select customers, where you downloaded the data set. Click on that data set. Okay. Once you have seen that data set, check the sheet called customers. Then click transform. Thank you. Now, please take note. In Power Query, in Excel, if you have made a mistake, how do you correct your mistake?
Control Z.
Control Z, thank you. In Power Query, if I press Control Z, does it work?
No.
It does not work. So Power Query does not understand what Control Z is. Okay. So rather, what you do is that you have what they call applied steps. Applied what steps? So if I have made a mistake, what do? I just come here and delete the step. I delete the step. Can you see that has come back? So there's no control what Z. So rather you come to what applied what steps. So what is happening at the back end is that you can see there's something like a code written for you. Because Power Query uses a language called M. It uses a language called what? M. So what it's doing for you, it is storing your codes for you. It's storing your codes for you. Imagine that you have a report that you have to do every week. Every week you have to do this report. It means that anytime this data comes in, you must always clean this data, transform the data, and start visualizing. But the good thing about Power Query is that the moment you are doing your steps, it's already storing it for you. All you need to do is do it once. Anytime you update that data again or load that data again, all you need to do is just click refresh and every step will be what? Done for you. You don't have to do it again. So that is what storing for you in your applied steps. All right, let's make progress.
Sorry, I can't find the equation on my own Power Query.
You can't find what?
These codes.
No, don't worry about the code. If you come to view, don't worry about the code. If you come to view, can you see formula bar? View formula bar.
Yes.
Please just take note. Everything you are doing here is like your Excel. The way you're thinking about Excel, that's how it works. Okay, but with some few differences. Okay. All right. Now the next thing is that what do we need to do now? We said we need to what? Use first row as what? Headers. Okay. Now what do you notice now? So we have done that. So the next rule is that what? There should be no empty rows. No empty rows. Beautiful. Now, where do you notice empty rows? So when we say empty row, it means completely what? Empty. Beginning to the end of that row is empty. I will now ask a question. Can we differentiate between rows and columns? Some people will say,
yes.
So tell me which one is the row, which one is the column?
Row is x-axis, column is y-axis.
Okay. So column is what? X-axis. Row is x-axis, right? Y column is what?
Yes.
Y-axis. Everybody will agree with this?
Yes.
All right, I'm good. So now you have identified the word empty rows. So since I know there are empty rows, just like in Excel, there are different ways of doing the same thing. Okay, so I'll just show you the easiest way first. Okay, so what you'd have just done, come here. Can you see where you have your filter? Where you see my null, can you see null here? Can you see null here? Null means empty, which means if I check that null, all through that my first row, can you see everything is null, which means everything there is what? Empty. So what do I do? I need to what? Uncheck it. I've unchecked it. Can you see my data is taking shape now?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So I've removed all most of my empty rows. Is there still any empty row again? Do we still have empty rows here?
Nope.
All right. What again? We said no what?
Spaces.
No empty column.
No empty column. So can you see all these columns? Column 9. So what do I do? To remove empty columns, if I click my column here, my column 9, what I would have done is to just right click and say remove column. Can you see remove? I just right click and say remove.
Yeah.
Can you see that? But imagine I have a whole lot. So what do? Once I click the first one, what do? I hold my shift tab.
Highlight.
Yeah, I want to highlight them, isn't it? So I hold my shift button. So I click on, look at it now. I click on my column 9, which is empty. Hold my shift button. Are you there? Click on column 12. Can you see I've highlighted everything?
Yes.
So what do? I right click and say remove columns. Can you see everything is gone now?
Yes.
Sorry, question.
Yes, please.
What if you had those columns in alternate spaces?
In where?
Alternate spaces, like column 9 was empty, column 10 had things in it, column 11 was empty, column 12 had.
Okay, good. If you have that problem, so normally you will have, can you see choose columns? Can you see remove columns?
Yes.
So if I say remove what? Columns, right? Let me do that for you again. Look at it. Can you see choose columns?
Yes.
You have remove columns, okay? That's what we use, remove columns. Now look at choose columns, right? So if I had them in alternate spaces, then I can choose them from here. So I can choose maybe here. So look at it now. Everything is selected. So I can uncheck this, uncheck this, uncheck this, uncheck this. So I imagine I didn't want all these ones, alternate. Can you see that? I can come under choose what columns. Does that answer your question?
It does, thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right. So that's fine. So let's go. So if I want to remove this, I click on the first one, hold my shift button, click on column 12 and say remove columns. Same thing, I can come to this part. Can I see I have column 12 to column 25 to column 28? What do? Click on column 25, hold my shift button and click on what? Column 28. Right click and say remove columns. Remove columns. Are we there?
Yes.
Beautiful. What again do we need to do? We said one row of header. Have we answered that? No empty rows, no empty columns. Beautiful.
No total or
No
subtotal.
total. Beautiful. Can we see total here? So how do we remove total? I come here again. I uncheck it. Can you see totals? Now, please take note. Anything you are doing here, it does not affect your Excel file. Everything is just being working. But the moment you adjust your Excel file, it affects this place. It affects the this transformation we are doing here. Okay. So the moment you are working with, do not touch anything in your Excel file. Just leave it as it is. So do all your transformation here. Okay. Beautiful. Any other thing again? Any other thing again?
All
The
dates should
date.
be on one column.
All dates must be on one word column. Okay, before we get to that, let us address other things. Okay. Now look at, for example, can you see this? This customer ID. This customer ID is for CG125. What is the person's name? What is this person? Claire. Is this the same person? CG12520. Is it the same person?
Yes.
But they left it blank, isn't it?
Yes.
Or is the same person, which means that we are supposed to what? That this person we have null is supposed to be this person's name. This null is supposed to be who?
Claire.
Tracy.
Tracy, isn't it? So what are we expected to do?
You fill it.
We are supposed to what? Fill it beautiful. So how do we do that? How do we do that? In your Excel,
You go to transform.
Yes, you go to transform, right? Do you see fill? Can you see fill? Fill down. Can you see that's filled everything? Now, the same way, imagine I have the same thing to fill down. All this up to this point, I want to fill everything down. So what do? I click my name, the customer's name, hold your shift button down, category, isn't it? Transform, fill down. Is the data taking shape now? Is this data taking shape now?
Yes.
Beautiful. So let's
Yes,
go.
it is. Sorry, question.
Yes, please.
Please, what if that was a mistake?
If it was
What
a
if-
mistake,
Yes,
hold on.
what
If it was
if
a mistake, I come down
customer-
to, yes, I come down here to fill down. I delete it. Then I
I'm
now
sorry, I
take,
missed a step. I'm sorry. Can you go over it?
you said what if it was a
The
mistake, right? So this is what I had done before. Transform. Now, in your transform tab, so instead of you clicking your transform, sometimes you can just right click. You can use it fill here. So you can say fill down. So if I have made a mistake here, so what do? I come to my applied steps. And you see where I have my last step, fill down, I press delete. And it has gone back. Is that okay? So I do it again. I click on customer name, hold your shift button down, click on category, because here we have fill null, which is supposed to be furnishings, okay? So what do? I can come here to transform, or I right click and say fill down. And everything has been filled. Now the table is looking cleaner now, isn't it? Now, also take note that when I look at my data, can you see this data set? Can you see this data? What is this? What are you noticing here?
decimals?
Now, this is like a funny symbol here, isn't it? Like as if you wanted to put currency. So imagine you had an ERP, maybe on an SAP or a QuickBook. So you wanted to export this data. But because the way it is, the currency is stored there, Excel does not understand it. So that's how it's bringing it. So sometimes when we import data from different sources, sometimes Excel does not understand that format. So rather, you start seeing funny things like this. So what do? We need to clean it up. So if you're in Excel, how we have done this? If you're in Excel, how we have cleaned it up? If you're in Excel, how we have cleaned it up?
Format.
Filter.
Format. But you know when you are formatting, what exactly are you formatting?
The currency.
Currency. But you see here, there's no currency. Before we come to that currency, we need to make sure that these funny values here, we just find it. Is it not? Find and what? Replace. So what I'll do, I'll just right click and say find and what? Replace. So what am I looking for? I will just delete these numbers here. So this is the symbol I'm looking for. I cannot type it, isn't it? So that's why I just do that. Just find it there. And just click replace. Replace with what? Replace with what?
Naira.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Can you see that? Replace
Yes.
it with what? Nothing. Have you seen everything has disappeared now? Okay. Now, if you are coming from Excel background, Excel has basically 4 data types. What are they? What are the data types in Excel?
Date.
You have text,
Text.
number,
String.
Boolean. Your text is your string, isn't it? So what you have is that you have text, which you call your what? Strings.
Strings.
Isn't it? You have numbers.
Date.
You have numbers, okay? You have what? Boolean. And you have what? Formula. Now in Excel, your date is also what? A number. But how do you know? Anytime you enter a text, you will notice that it aligns to where? The left. Anytime you enter a number, it aligns to where?
The right.
The right. Anytime you enter Boolean, it aligns to where? Boolean is true or false? It aligns to the middle. Then anytime we are entering a formula, we start with what? Equal to.
False to.
Isn't it? Now look at this data here. Look at this data. Is this a number or is it a text?
A text. What?
Look at this data. Look at here. I'm on this column here. Is this
The
a
number.
number or is it text?
The number.
How did you know it's a number?
It's to the right.
It's aligned to the right. And what again will determine that for you? Can you see 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
So that tells you it's a number. Let's look at this one now. Look at this now. Is this a number or is it a text?
It's a text.
How did you know it's a text?
It's aligned to the left.
It's aligned to the left. And look at the
there's
data.
ABC up there.
ABC.
Yeah.
So as data analyst, you must have an understanding of what your data. So which means for me to analyze this data, I need to make sure that it's what? A number. So I have to come and switch it here from what? ABC to what? 1, 2, or 3. This 1, 2 means it's decimal, but if I want the whole numbers, 1, 2, 3. Do you see that? So if I want to switch it, what do? I come here, ABC, come here, whole number, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Are we clear with that now? Are we clear with that? How to identify whether it's text, number?
Yes.
Beautiful. All right. Now, let's look at this now. The last thing we had mentioned is that every column, every date must be on a single word column. So what do we want to do? We want to make sure that this our date is on a single word column. Now, how will you have done this in Excel? If you were to do it in Excel, how will you have done it? How we have done it in Excel? Yes?
Pivot.
Merge.
Pivot, merge. Okay. Now, most likely, when you say pivot, do you mean use pivot tables?
Yeah.
Okay, that will not work for transpose. You know what transpose is doing? Transpose is moving row and column. But remember, I need these numbers along with them. I need to move these numbers along with them. Okay, so what we do, so what I will do, I will highlight the whole data. So hold your shift button, isn't it? Go to my last column, click on it. Are we there? Right click. Now, rather than you saying transform or transpose, what we are going to do is called what? Unpivoting. Somebody said pivoting, pivot table, but it's not pivoting, but what? Unpivoting. So we are going to what? Unpivot. Have we seen what has happened? We have taken all the columns along with their numbers. All those rows we took in column along with their what number. So I do it again one more time. I highlight the data from here. What we're not doing transpose, we are doing what? Unpivoting. So I right click and say unpivot columns. Now I can take here as what? Date. And take here as what? Sales. Now remember, this data type is supposed to be what? A date. So what do? I change it here from ABC to what? Date. Does this data look clean now? Does this data does it look clean now? So anytime you want to work as data analyst, always have at the back of your mind that this data I am storing is going to be used for what? Analysis sometime in the world future. So there are some bad habits you already have. So always ensure what? You store your data in this form. The moment you store your data in this form, your problem has been solved for you. Most of your problem has been solved. But you see, when you're working when you're working as a team, you know some enemies will always be at work. They must type what they are not supposed to type. Okay, and create problem for you. So, but you already know that best practice, always ensure that one row of header, no empty rows, no empty columns, there should be no totals. The reason why there should be no totals is that when I'm doing my analysis, it's going to automatically calculate totals for me, so I don't need it. all my categories should be on a single word column. So instead of me having bookcase here, chairs here, everything should be on a single word column. So once I am done with this, what do I do? Close and what? Apply. Then we are going to PowerBI now. Claire?
Please, I have
Can
a
we see my
question.
Power BI screen now? Can we see my Power BI screen now?
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, in Power BI, business intelligence, isn't it? You are trying to make what? Intelligent what? Decisions based on your what? Data. So Power BI, you see that word power, it is very what? Powerful. And this is why Power BI makes life easy. It's just drag and drop. Drag and drop. But all you need to know before you drag and drop, there are basically different aspects. You have here what they call your tabs. Okay, these are your panels. Okay, your panels, your filter, visualization, and field. Then these are your page one, just like in Excel, you have your sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. So this page 1, the same way you label your, I can just call it what? Reports. Okay, this is your canvas. This is your canvas, like your PowerPoint, where you are going to build all your visuals. Okay, all you are going to do is going to what? Drag and drop. Drag and drop. So once you just drag, that's all. Can you see it? You just work on it by itself for you. So for example, I want to take sales. I just drag sales here, finish. I drag sales there. Can you see that? So imagine that you have different questions. What kind of questions do you want to ask? What kind of question do you want to ask? Sales by region. I drag my region here. I drag my sales there. What other questions do you want to ask? I want to report by segments. I take my segment there and take my sales there. Very easy and everything. If you want, what other question do you want to ask? If I want to take states now, I can. You say what?
Highest sales. Date of highest sales.
By what? By what now?
By date. By date.
By date. Okay, so I take my dates. So if I take my dates, now if you look at my dates, I have different criteria. I can have, so I can put it my table here. I can shift it to table. Can you see table here? That's my table, right? So what do I want to see? Is it by year, quarter, month, day? So if I want it by year, I just delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this. That's all. Then I take my sales. If I want it by month, what do I do? I drag my dates. Dates, yes. I will just switch it to table, isn't it? Switch it to table. Then I want month, so I remove my year, remove my quarter, remove my day, and leave only month. So what do? I drag my sales. Okay. So if that's the only one that I have there, let's see what's happening there. So I drag my date there. So I remove my day, month. Okay. Then drag my sales there. So let me check what's happening there.
Data is for December only.
For December only. Okay, that's
December
for December only. So that's why I speak it only what December. Beautiful. So if I want again by quarter, if I want to analyze the data by quarter, so what I can do, what do I do again? Drag my dates. So I'm going to switch it to table, delete my year, delete my month, delete my day, and leave only what? Quarter. Then I take what? My sales here. So based on this, this is only quarter 4. Okay, so because of this data set, it's only quarter 4 because it's December. December is quarter 4. Okay, so let's leave that. Let's leave that. Okay, let's leave that. So let's assume I want to create a report based on this. So what you are easily going to do is just switch your charts. Just switch any chart that you want. So what I like doing, I just like to see the data first that it makes sense. Okay, that it is adding up. Because otherwise, if you are just dragging and dropping, you are going to be seeing visuals. But does it make sense to you? So for example, here, this is already on the table. So what do I want to do? I want to see what? A chart. So if I want to see this chart, I put it there and I have that. If I want to check by region, I can switch it. Can you see? Just drag and drop and you're just turning everything. By segment, I can put a do not chart. By year, I will put like a line chart. Okay. So this is just a simple report that I can create. So this may be like a line chart that I can just put there. I just come down here. Okay, just have a simple report. So you are furnished, there are some visuals you'll be seeing. You wonder, how do they do all these things? Please take note, everything we are doing here can be done in Excel, but your Excel skill must be very good for you to do this. But you see, in Power BI, can you see in less than 5 minutes, I've already created the report. Okay. And what I will need to do again, let me bring my title. Can you see that? Insert, title. So what do I call this? Let's call this what? Sales report. Maybe I call it Detalio sales report. So let us make that large. And I put that there. Okay, so if I want to make it bold, I make it bold. You say all my columns have disappeared. How do I do to revert? I'm not seeing the steps applied. If your columns, that is in your, what they call it, your Power Query screen, right? Your columns, if they have disappeared,
Yes.
that means they have turned, all your rows have turned to columns. So just one, that means you have 2 columns now. Instead of having those maybe like 10 columns, you now have just 2 columns.
I just have column 1 with 1 data.
With
Number
1 data. So
Yeah.
it means it has created your dates to 1 column. So you just go and label it as dates. Okay, I'm coming. Let me just wrap this up.
No,
Yes?
I mean for the entire data set.
Entire, no, that means you have done something, you have done, that means the enemies are at work.
Probably she deleted some
Yes, the enemies are at work. Just hold on. We'll come back to you now. Hold on. Yeah? Let's try and finish this up. All right. Now, in case you have like this organization's report, right? So let me see. Do I have the Italian here? Yes. So I have a logo here, the Italian. So I just import it. Just the same way I have this. I just import it. Your picture. Just so imagine this your organization. You put your organization logo there. Sales report. Can you see that? So you see, in less than 5 minutes, you can easily create a simple report. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more interesting, I can also, so there are different visuals. So this is what we have in our basic Excel, right? But one thing that makes your Power BI very interesting is that it has a whole lot of visuals, okay? So for example, imagine I want to know how many customers do you think we have here? How many customers do you think we have? How many customers do we have? Yeah?
Probably in the hundreds.
In hundreds. So for me to know how many customers, I'll just drag my customers here, come and drop it here. But you see, it's giving me a list, but I don't want this list. So rather, what do I want? I will switch it to what they call a card. I will switch it to what? A card. Okay? But I don't want to see the name. I want to see the number. So for me to see the number, what do? I will come here. Can you see where my field is? I'll come here and say count. Count. You have count and count distinct. What's the difference between count and count distinct? What's the difference?
Count distinct counts the unique number of customers.
The unique customers, isn't it? So I click count distinct. That's 14 customers. But if I want to find out how many transactions do I have, if I drag my customer here, if I drag my customers here, right? Switch it to cards. Then I come here and say count. So count is telling me what? Like the number of transactions, isn't it? So it means that I've had how many transactions? Yeah?
I have a question. Can't we use order ID to determine the number of
Beautiful.
customers?
You can also do that. Beautiful. You can also do that. You can also do that. So if I take ID, I drop it here. I will switch it here to a card. Then I will drop down and say count these things. So if I want to label it, what do I do? I'll just come here. Can you see where I have count? I'll say, oh, number of customers. Number of customers. Can you see that? Sorry, did it change? So once I say number of customers, press enter. Number of customers, enter. So here I'll call it what? Let's say number of transactions, enter. Can we see that? As you want to know how much have I sold, I just drag it here and switch it to what? A card. Can you see how much is my total sales?
3 million.
3 million. 3 what? Million. So in case I want to put switch, maybe I want to put my currency here. So this is where I will now come to. Can you see your currency here? I switch it there. Currency. In case you want it in naira, you come down just the same way you have it in your Excel.
No, let's leave it in dollars.
You want to leave it in dollar? Okay, but in case those who are looking for naira, this way you have your naira here. Have you seen that? All right, so basically what we have done is a simple word report. So which means that if I want to dice my report further, maybe for example, I want to understand how my sales is performing by, let's say, by region. No, by region is already here. Let's say by categories here. So let's say by what? Ship mode, or let's say by state. Beautiful. Let's say by states. I want to analyze my data by states. Okay, so if I'm doing a presentation, so I take my states here and drop here. So if you look at this table now, automatically, the moment you have states there, it creates a visual for you. So let me do that for you. Let me take that. Let me do that here. So let's take this map here. So all you are seeing here is that, so if I take my sales there to my size, can you see now? So can you see how the visual is already coming up? If I want to dice it further, let's say by ship mode, what I can do here, by this ship mode, I'll put my table. Can you see my table already? But rather, I will put it as what? Slicer. So whether it is first class, second, so if I check it now, first class, can you see my report is switching? Second class, can you see switching? Standard, can you see that it's switching? So that is the same way I can analyze my word table. So if I pick it, let's say, for example, I pick by date now. Let me pick by dates. So let me show it here. So I want only, let's say, the year. Let's say I only want the year, okay? So what I'm going to do here, I want to switch it to what? A slicer. Can you see I can drop the slicer? So as I'm switching my slicer there, can you see my whole data is changing? Can you see that? If in case I don't want this, I can just clean it up. I can clean it up. I can come here to what? A list or a drop down. So if I click on the drop down, so you can see it here. So if I switch it here, so any year, 2011. Now this is how I can easily do my reports. Now please take note, we have not done anything yet. All we have done is just what? A tip of the iceberg. Because this has made life easy for you because your data is what? Clean. But imagine your data is coming from different sources and you now need to model them. How do I get my data from the web? How do I get my data from a database, right? How do I now transform it? How do I clean it? How do I do visuals that are custom made? How do I get unique insights? Then I now need to create what? A DAX function. So all this is what we are going to learn. So all this is just to show you that there's a whole lot we can do with Power BI. Okay. Kemi, do we still have time or we can wrap it up here?
I'm still having the issue.
Okay, we'll answer your issue now. Hold on. Kemi, is Kemi still here? Okay, who has issue? Can you share your screen? Share your screen. Share your screen. Let's see what your issue is.
Okay, I also have an issue. Anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. The enemies are at work here. Don't worry, we have seen where your problem is. You see, when you are importing this data, you wiped up everything. Everything has gone off. Let's see. Click on the. Let's see. So it seems that you have removed everything. Can you click on your customers? Let me see what you have done. So that your Power Query, this thing is not there anymore. So what you do here, click on your source data. Click on source. This is your source and data source and setting. Click on it. Let me see. I wanted this thing to appear. So don't worry. Close that. Close that. Close that. Your screen is no longer. Let me see. So what you will do, click on this, your recent, what you just do, just close and apply, just close and apply so that everything will start from beginning again. Close and apply. So everything has disappeared initially, okay? So what you are going to do now, click on that, can you see where you have transform data? Where you have your transform, okay, this is a newer version. This is different from my own version. So what you do, click on, can you see that timing? There's something like a setting there. Get data, look at it. Just, can you see where you have get data? Move, count one, where you see your Excel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cancel. Yes, where you have that time. Yes, exactly. Click on it. Click on that. Yes. Click on customers. Transform data. Oh, it means you have to go back. Anyway, but it seems you have to, but you have to delete that first one. Go to the first customers. Click on your first customer. Yes, can you see? So delete all these steps. Delete all the steps you have done. Hold on. Can you see your applied steps? So delete them now. Delete. Beautiful. So you are here now. So check. So you can continue from there. So stop sharing. So you can continue from there. So who else has a problem?
Thank you.
I have an issue as well. I have an issue.
Share your screen quickly.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen now. Can anyone see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I'm trying to do the replace value for this.
Yes, now just right click. Hold on, right click. Not there. Just right click where you have the problem. Any of the cell. Right click. Exactly. Right click. Sorry, just right click on any of the cell. Right click. Exactly. So what you have there. So when you click first. Let me see. Click on it. Click.
I've clicked.
Left click. Is it left click or right click? Left click there. Let me see. Now, if you see what is happening there, in your own case, you cannot select. Is this one a CSV file or an Excel file?
An Excel file.
If it's an Excel file, switch that to your ABC 1, 2, 3. Switch it to ABC.
Okay.
Now, right click on any of the cell. Can you see replace values?
Okay.
So that was where the enemies have come.
I should replace it with
All right,
blank.
okay. Replace with nothing.
Oh, why was that thing happening? Is there any
Because of
reason
your
behind
data
it?
type. Your data type, look at it.
Then
not
change it
as-
to numbers.
Yeah, so change it to
Numbers.
Okay. Thank you.
change your
That's
data
all.
type so you can stop sharing there. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So stop sharing. Yes.
I've stopped sharing.
Okay. Have you stopped sharing? No, I think it's still
I have
sharing.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
I know that Power BI is business intelligence, but in my own field of my area of my own area, I'm
Yes.
a public health expert, and
Yes.
in the course of searching for jobs in the last couple of months, Power BI has come up in my role as monitoring and evaluation officer, and basically most of the interactions with Power BI.
Hello, I can't hear you. Sorry, please, can you stop sharing? Can you stop
Sales,
sharing?
and I don't know how. Hello, can I continue?
Yes, continue, please. Yes, continue.
Okay, so I don't know how I can apply this knowledge to my health.
Okay, you are in public
related-
health. Okay, let me show you a
Yes.
simple
So
let me
please,
show you a
can
simple
you?
example. Hold
Okay,
on, let me
thank
show you a simple example. Let me explain a simple example. Now, the whole world is in crisis now, isn't it? COVID-19, isn't it? Now, can you imagine now? You see those reports that they have been doing, what they call it, is it St. John's? Where they do that dashboard. Even if you go to NCDC,
Yeah.
you see a report of dashboard
Yes.
of COVID cases. Does that apply to your own field?
It does. It does. It does.
So the question is that how do you now do that? Because the point is not just about the visual, but it's about understanding. So imagine that this was COVID-19 cases. This is how they are is spreading around. Now, when you come for the program properly, we are going to show you how you are going to connect to something like NCDC, connect direct to the web. Whatever you have there, you now do your own report. Imagine now you have a question is that how well is a business performing when COVID cases are rising? You see, I'm trying to connect sales data with COVID cases. With that one, I'm going to have unique insight because I cannot have that kind of insight based on the data I have. But by the time I connect it with another source of data, so imagine again, I want to find out, I have data on, let's say, domestic violence. I have data on COVID. How do I bring them together and start making decisions based on that? So it's about you thinking, it's not about that. Why what I keep telling people, it's not really about what we are doing. It's about, first of all, your domain knowledge. Do you know your domain knowledge very well? Because it is your understanding of that, your domain knowledge, that makes you outstanding when you are doing your analysis. So it can be applied.
If I may understand you.
Yes.
If I may understand you perfectly.
Yes.
Working with Excel files or maybe SPSS data makes you work with what you're given. But with Power BI, you can make predictions from other data sources.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, are you into research?
Okay. Yes.
You're into research. So I think that's why you're asking that question. So most time, what you are doing as a researcher, right? It's still the same thing we are doing, but the only difference is that you see the problem is that when you do your data and your analysis as a researcher, the end product is that you put it inside the journal, isn't it, and publish.
Yeah.
Most likely. Is that what's happening? But
yes,
what
that's
is
most likely the
case. Exactly. And nobody's ever seen what you are doing, isn't it? Nobody sees what you are doing. And nobody understands what you are doing. But the only way managers can understand what you are doing is to present a report, a dashboard. So that's your findings you have been doing. How can I present it in a dashboard, in a snapshot, and give you my findings? Because it is easier for me to see this than to run regression and present table. Which one will be easier?
Of course, Power BI.
Power BI will make it easy for you. At the end of the day, by looking at it, it should be what? Actionable, is it not? Understandable, and immediately I can know what I need to do. So it can be applied in any field. But what most important is that you understand your field very well. That's why your domain knowledge is the most important thing. Is that clear?
It's clear.
All right, thank you. Yes, any other question?
I have a question, but though it's not really related to this in a way.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
So recently, I think on Twitter, I've been seeing this trend amongst the data professionals where they get to use Figma and
Okay, yes.
yeah, like so I'm a bit confused. Is it that they design like now that we have this report on Power BI, is it that they now go to Figma and redesign everything again and then import
Now you
this
know Figma is usually used for they call it UI UX, user interface design. And
yes.
you understand. So Figma is just a tool. So you know what you have. So you know Mubarak explained something that in this Power BI there are three parts. You have Power BI desktop, you have Power BI what service, and you have Power BI mobile,
Services.
and you have Power BI mobile. You see what I have here now?
Yes.
What I have here now, you know, you can also do it on your mobile. So that whatever I'm seeing here, can you see this is normal page layout? If I come to mobile layout, I can now report it. How do I want to see it on my mobile phone? That is what your Figma is doing. Do you see that?
Okay.
Like your user interface. So this is how I want it. So anytime I create this report, anywhere they are, anywhere in the world, they can easily see this report, and this is how it's going to come out. Do you understand? So this is what they are doing here. They are busy helping you create a user interface. But this is Power BI. Power BI can also help you do that. Power BI can also help you to do that. I don't know exactly.
So what you're saying is they just do it for different device compatibility.
Yes, for different device. It
right?
can be for web, it can be for my mobile application. But you see, the understanding of that user interface also helps you design more elegant dashboards. Because you are looking at it, you are designing the dashboard from a user experience.
Okay.
So that's the essence of why they need that. Clear?
Can you connect Figma to Power BI?
Now, Figma on its own is just.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Like I'm asking.
So understand something is that when you
build
the user interface of Figma, right? That is what will guide you when you are building it. So it's not like you can connect them that way directly. Because there are two different things. This is what the Figma would have done for you. Those your user interface, how you are going to work.
Oh, so if I get you, what you're saying is. So if I get you, what you're saying is on Figma, they tend to just design the phone mockup,
what you see here, just
and then they export these images here.
Yeah, exactly, just that design, exactly.
So they just export the pie chart and then insert it into the Figma, and that's all.
Exactly, that's it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Do you have any other questions?
One more question though. I know that in the this thing, is it Mubarak? I can't remember his name. I don't want to mispronounce his name. In the Q&A session we had earlier, he mentioned there are three different process to data analysis. There is modeling, there is analysis, and then there's visualization.
Okay. So in that case, all we have been doing, you see, visualization is one part. But before your data comes in, right? You need to have a good understanding of how to link your data. So this is what they call your data modeling. So when you come for the training, we are going to show you how you are going to connect this data. And connecting this data depends on how well you understand your database, where you are going to learn SQL.
Okay.
It is that SQL that helps you know how you are going to model your data. What is the primary key there? How do I connect this table with this table together? So when they are connected, and I understand that whenever I'm looking for any data, I need to what? Query this particular what key, and that's what is going to give me what? The result from another table. So it's your understanding of that we know that when we are dragging and dropping in Power BI, it is that back end of your what? Understanding of database that is telling you how this report is going to show.
So
Because
in
if you
summary,
don't
what
get
you're saying is, oh, sorry, go on. Yeah.
because if you don't get this modeling right, you can never what? Do this visual. This visual is the easiest thing. Where the problem comes is, especially when I'm connecting data from different word sources. Imagine, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If you have a business, how well do you sell when it rains? Can you answer that question? How well do you sell when it rains?
Okay. So it
Can you
means
answer that question?
that I will need to have data on my daily sales,
On your daily sales,
and then I'll need to have another set of data for the frequent
rain.
the days, yeah, for rain,
Exactly.
like
For
a
the
rain,
rain, isn't it? Now the question now is, how will I connect my sales data with my rain data? How will I connect it?
the date,
The
the
date,
sales
beautiful.
date,
Beautiful.
and
That date. What you are doing there is called data modeling.
okay.
That is the only time that when I connect that date, then my visual, I can now know on this day when it rains, this is how my report is, this is how we are going to perform, or this is how we have performed. So that gives you an insight that when it's raining at so time, this is what we are likely going to sell. So as a manager, you should now know, okay, anytime it rains, this is what we are likely going to do. That you can never see it normally. So that is the essence of why you must understand as a data analyst, how do I connect from different sources, bring them together to bring unique insights.
Wow, I understand now. Thank you.
Fair now, right? Beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, any other question?
Do you mind speaking more to the classes, like the
Yeah,
classes?
Kemi will do that. Kemi will do that. Is Kemi
Okay.
here? Okay, but if we are done with all our basic disease, so let me call up Kemi so that she can come and talk more on the other sessions.
Hello, thank you so much, Francis. Thank you so much. I'm sure we had an amazing experience so far. It's been awesome learning and relearning what we know. So thank you so much, Francis. I would just like to ask if any other person has any questions. Please feel free to ask. If not, let me know. So please, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask right now.
So thank you, Francis, for the wonderful presentation. I just have a question, though I may have missed some sessions due to my poor network. So I just wanted to ask, I just wanted to get some clarity on DAS. Yeah.
On what?
DAS.
DAX. Okay, DAX. Okay, yes. Okay, you want to understand what DAX is, right?
Yes.
Okay, DAX. Okay. So most, when they were building Power BI, okay, Power BI comes from different places, okay. Everything in Power BI is about Excel. So your knowledge of Excel must be okay at least. Maybe good though, but should at least be basic, okay. Now, what they had noticed is that, you see, they need to get data from different sources, right? They need to get data from different sources. And that is why I think that was 2010, they came up with what they call the Power Pivot. Have you heard of Power Pivot?
Yes.
Power pivot, okay? So that power pivot helps you to do your data modeling, getting the data from different sources. But you see, at the back end of that power pivot uses what they call DAX, data analysis expressions.
Okay.
So that data DAX is like a formula. It's like you writing your formula in Excel. Normally, your Excel, you'd have started your formula with equal to, then you write the expressions, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the same thinking. That is what your DAX does for you. So imagine now, I want to compare, for example, I want to compare my total sales, or in fact, just imagine this now. Can you see my sales in the west, in the northwest, southeast? I want to compare it against south-south. All this data, I want to compare it against what? South-south. Okay. With your normal filtering, you cannot do that. The only way you can do that is to generate a new data called maybe south-south data that I'm going to compare. The only way you can bring that is by writing a DAX function. So that DAX function enables you to create your own unique insights. As long as you are thinking about it, it can be done. Because you are looking at how am I going to create a unique variable that is not here. So just imagine that. How can I what will be my sales, let's say in what date are we in now? This 2018, 2019, I want to do a forecast, isn't it? But for me to do that forecast, I must be able to think, how do I now create that variable? But creating that variable, I cannot just do it with normal Power Pivot or my normal Power BI. So I need to create a function or a variable. And how do I create that variable or that function? I will need to use the DAX language. So it's just like your formula in Excel, but just a little bit higher. Or if you want to ask a question, for example, what was my performance by this time last year? This time last year. Okay? What you are doing is like doing a year-on-year comparison. Same period last year. So that same period last year is also a function in your DAX. You cannot do that normally. So that's where your DAX comes in. So it now comes in to give you more for you to enable you to create more unique insights in your data. So that's the essence of your DAX. It's a formula function, but to help you create your own unique insights. I don't know if that answers you.
Very clear. Thank you. So if I should also ask, does this DAX kind of give us a predictive insight into the data? Like, can we predict
now even
if
I was using just my normal thing, right? If I come to my normal function chart, all these you are going to see them under the analytics. They are all there. They are all there. You can easily see your predictive. You can do your forecast. Can you see your forecast there?
Yes.
All these. That's why when you come for the program, we are going to show you all this, how you can do all these things.
Sorry, just a follow-up question to the question that was asked. So where do we write the DAX here?
Oh, where do you write the DAX here? Just like your normal Excel function now, isn't it? In your Excel, right? How do you write your normal Excel? So if I come to my data, can you see your data here? Yeah. Now, most time your data, you can create it either in a table or you can create it using a measure. Can you see your measure? So I can easily type whatever I want to do here. So I can see, maybe can just say total, or let's say average, let's say sales 2 is equals to sales. Now, but you see in your DAX, when you are talking, can you see all these functions here coming out? Can you see all these functions coming out? If I type average, can you see all these functions coming out? These are your DAX. This is where you write your DAX.
Okay.
You see that? All I'm doing here is a DAX. All I've written here is a DAX. So can you see it has divided and that thing for you there? So this is now a DAX. Can you see a measure has come out? So if I say sales 2, this is a measure. So I can now bring it and visualize it. Can you see it is different from what I have done? I will not have this one. This is my average sales. Then I can now call this one average sales. And it's so wonderful that even when I still search maybe 2008, it's going to recalculate everything for me. Do you see that? But do you notice what has happened to my original one? Did you notice what has happened? It's, as it's adjusting, it's also going to be adjusting the way it is. So that is a simple way of calculating a simple DAX. But you can get more advanced, just like in the Excel functions. You can get more advanced. So the same way you have your formula tab, that is where you are going to write your DAX. Yes, any question?
Please feel free to ask your questions. Any questions at all related to what we've done so far?
Okay, so I have another question. Aside, I've noticed that one key advantage of Power BI over Excel is that you can have access to multiple data sources at the
Yes.
same time. So aside that, what other advantage does Power BI have over Excel?
What advantage does what Power BI have over what?
Excel.
Oh, Excel. Oh, first of all, Power BI is also Excel. This Power BI I have seen is also what? Excel. Okay, it's just like Excel is the grandfather. But you see, one thing you must understand is that Microsoft always want to make life easy for you. So all they have done is to make it, you see everything we have done here, can be done in Excel. But do you see how easy it is for me to what? Just drag and drop, and all my report is coming out. And imagine I was doing this in Excel. If I wanted to share this thing, what would I have done? I would have saved it as an Excel file, sent by email, isn't it? Or alternatively, I would have done a share. But in terms of that, the security again is another issue. But with your Power BI, as long as I've published it to the web, to the service, wherever I am, whether it is on my mobile phone, can you access this file on the go with Excel on your mobile phone?
No.
No.
Definitely you can't.
But you see, Power BI, it has created different platforms for you. So you can access it from anywhere, as long as it's what on the cloud. So that is why you have your Power BI service. And in terms of the enterprise, so this one you have downloaded, usually the free one. But for organizations, usually that is the one you pay for. Okay? So again, it makes everything you are doing here can easily be more customizable. Everything can be customizable. So another thing again you can do, in case I want to do more advanced analytics, if you're in Excel, Excel you have needed to get an add-in. But with Power BI, what I can do, I can connect it with Python. So the analytics I would have done in Python, I can also do it in Power BI. The analytics I would have done with R, I can also do it with Power BI. Can you do that in Excel? Can it be done in Excel?
No.
Yeah. So those are some things that, so in terms of integration, that's why you are seeing your R, your Python here. Okay. There are a whole lot of unique insights that you would have made life much more easy in Power BI than in Excel. So take note that your Excel is a combination of different tools. So the first one is that they came up with what? Power Pivot. The language for Power Pivot is your DAX. But they realized that when you bring in this data from different sources, most times these data, they are not in the same form. So you need to clean and transform them. So that's why by 2013, they brought in Power Query. And Power Query uses a language called what? M. So it is your combination of, and again, you need to also do a presentation in PowerPoint. So that is why you have this white canvas here. This is your white canvas here. So they now combine your Power Pivot, your DAX, your Power Query, and your M language. Collectively, they came up with what? Your Power BI. That was in 2015. So it is still what? Excel. So everything you are seeing here is in Excel. Except some of these advanced visuals that you may not have. I don't know if that answers you. Hello.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
All right. Okay, that's fine.
All right, please, are there any other questions? Okay, so I'll take the silence as a no. Thank you so much, Francis, and thank you so much to the 30 plus people who joined this call and stayed. All right, thank you. For those asking, there will be follow-up classes, which are paid classes. The data analytics class for beginners commences on the 12th of June. The flyer will be sent to the group chat along with more information. There are also other courses which you can check out on the website www.detalium.com. We have the strategic HR analytics coming up on the 12th of June. We have data analytics for beginner and intermediate, which comes up on the 12th and 19th of June. We also have the data analytics for Excel, which comes up on the 19th of June. Flyers will be dropped across on the group chat. But meantime, if you had an amazing experience, feel free to share and tag Detalium across all social media platforms. You can also follow Detalium for more information. And you can also visit detalium.com for more inquiries as to classes. So please take care of yourselves and have an amazing weekend ahead. With that, we've come to the end of the Detalium Masterclass weekend Power BI. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to the guys. It was really helpful. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
Right, so Kemi is asking how we join the WhatsApp group chat. Kemi, I'm guessing you're on the WhatsApp group chat, and if you're not, please send your number so we add it. All right, have a nice weekend, everyone.